I write scripts or like little notes for each of these videos, because if I did not write notes or like a little mini script to remind me about what I want to say, I will literally, every one of these videos would be like 300 hours long and they would make no sense. And there would be so many pauses and tangents and just, they would make no sense. So yeah, I write scripts or like notes to keep me from wandering too far. When I wrote this, I was in, I would say, a little bit of a worse state than I am now. I feel like I'm feeling a tiny bit better. I feel like half of the healing was just me writing out the script, because the script is basically my rant, and literally cried 3 separate times. That was where I was at mentally, and still kind of, and that's fine. We all go through it mentally sometimes. That is life. But yeah, I'm feeling a bit better now. I feel like half of the healing was just typing my rant out on my laptop. So yeah, I feel like all of my videos up until this point have been very chill, very light and love, very peace and love, Ringo Starr, peace and love. Ooh, I'm going to give you some of my experiences and how I coped and cope. Very reflective, very insightful maybe. Today, I just need to rant. My rant, yeah, I've been going through it mentally and like spiritually as well. So it is going to be a bit woo-woo. If you do not believe in that stuff, if you are not woo-woo, that's completely fine. You can click off this video or you can stay. You might get something out of it. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, no one's forcing you to stay, babe. But yeah, disclaimer, this is going to be a rant. It might be a bit negative. Sorry to bring the vibes down. But I feel like it's okay to feel like this, and I just need to rant. You need to rant. We all need to rant sometimes. It's allowed. You're allowed to feel a bit shit sometimes. And I feel like all this, I'll get into like the nitty gritty stuff, but I feel like all of this has been happening while like little things have been happening as well. So it's like all the little things that has happened has made the bigger things worse kind of thing, or what I've been feeling worse. And I just feel weird and off, and I just feel like I need to talk it through with myself. And yeah, just small things that have happened that have annoyed me and made me feel even more off. I haven't read for like the past 2-3 weeks because I ordered 2 books and neither of them turned up, and I'm a dumbass and I forgot that libraries exist. So instead, I just like tried to reread the books I already have, which I know it's a huge blessing to have books and to have things and stuff. This is basically half of this rant is just going to be first world problems. So if that pisses you off, I'm sorry. I acknowledge my privilege. I just need to rant. But yeah, I spent like 2-3 weeks trying to like reread books that I have and could not get into them for some reason. And I was just like, this sucks. I ordered 1 book from World of Books and they're normally really good and it's obviously not their fault. But I kept like trying to track my book and it kept saying to me like, oh, it will be here soon. It will be here soon. Like it will be here in 3 to 5 working days. 3 weeks later, I'm like, babe, it's not happening. Where is my book? And they were like, oop, it must have got lost in the mail. We're going to send you another one, which is really cool of them. And yeah, I still love World of Books. That's like the first time it's happened. It seems to have happened a lot, I guess. Like, it's weird that I ordered 2 books and both of them went like missing in the post. And that's never happened to me before. So obviously I'm not going to blame the companies or anything. And then the other book I ordered was from Vinted. Again, nothing to do with the seller. The shipping company, again, it was taking like longer than it normally does, and Vinted kept being like, it's fine, like we're just experiencing some delays, but it will get to you soon. And then I get an email like 3 weeks later being like, oh, we're so sorry, your parcel has been damaged beyond repair. And I just want to know who has a vendetta against books. Like, how is my parcel, how is my poor book damaged beyond repair? That poor book. But yeah, I suddenly realised that libraries exist, so I went out on the weekend to my library that I haven't been to in ages, which is honestly so bad. Like, we should use our libraries more often. And I'm very thankful that I have a library so close to me. Anyway, yeah, so I got 2 books from the library, and then I got home this weekend, and my mum was like, oh, you've got 2 parcels, and they were my 2 redelivered books because I ordered another one from a different seller on Vinted. So yeah, so now, but hey, things are looking up. I've got 4 books to read now, so lucky girly, let's go. But yeah, I just felt really off because I was like, I haven't read in like 2-3 weeks and I love reading, and I started reading one of my new books last night and this morning and I'm already hooked. I already love it, and my like mentally books just like help my mental health so much, so I'm very thankful for that. And now my editor for some reason is playing up, like my editing software. My last video, it will not let me export it without the watermark because it keeps saying that I need to buy the premium program, but I already have bought the premium program. But then every time I try to log on, it's saying that it can't connect or something. I don't know. It's really annoying. So my last video, it's probably had to be exported by the watermark. I still haven't figured out the problem. I'm putting off uploading onto YouTube right now because I really don't want to export it with the watermark, but I feel like if I can't sort the problem out today, I'm just going to have to and then try and find a new editing software. But that's been really annoying, and yeah, I hated that. Then also I just had like a moment of excitement and like feeling like myself again. I felt so motivated and good and connected. Like last Sunday evening I had like this burst of motivation. I made like a bunch of TikTok drafts because I really wanted to start a TikTok and just have fun with that, and yeah, I made a bunch of drafts. I felt really connected and motivated. Yeah, I just felt like I hadn't felt for a really long time. Like it felt like things were actually like starting to look up and like my energy was aligning again and maybe I was coming back to myself. I know we never leave ourselves, but you know what I mean. And the next morning I got my period and it was one of the most, first of all, I had the most painful cramps in the evening for some reason, which is weird because normally on the first day I get really painful cramps in the morning, but then like it's over and it's fine. For some reason, on Monday, I had the worst period cramps, but they happened in the evening. So like all day I was kind of fine, chilling, whatever. And then suddenly in the evening, I felt really, really hungry. But I felt so exhausted and I forced myself to go to the kitchen, forced myself to make myself like a nice meal. And then I started having cramps and the pain was so bad that I felt so nauseous that I couldn't eat anything except for like an apple. So this wonderful meal that I had made for myself, which again, I'm very thankful that I can do and have the resources to do, to make myself lovely food. But I couldn't even eat it because I was trying to like eat it and it was making me feel more nauseous. And for some reason, the only thing that was not making me feel sick to the stomach when I ate it was an apple. So I ate my apple and then felt so weird and off and unsettled that I made my poor mother sit on my bedroom floor while I just like huddled in pain on my bed for like 3 hours. And my mum was just like chilling on my bedroom floor watching YouTube because I was like, I'm sorry that I'm behaving like a 5-year-old, but I don't want to be alone right now. Because for some reason, when I get sick or like I'm in pain or something, I just get really unsettled sometimes. So yeah, for like a whole week, I just like sat in bed watching Young Dracula because again, the vibes were so off and I felt so unsettled that I had to watch a childhood show. Honestly, Young Dracula, so good though. Like, it's a kid show. It came out when I was a child. Still holds up now. Like, I can still watch it and enjoy it and be like, oh, hell yeah. I feel like that was one of the most amazing things about, like, my generation or, like, my age is that we had the best children's shows. I never had Disney and I was so annoyed that we could never get Disney, but looking back, I had the best shows ever. Our family was, like, CBBC. Like, I was a CBBC girly. Loved it so much. Also CITV because I loved My Parents Are Aliens. But yeah, anyway, so I was just exhausted all week in bed watching Young Dracula, feeling really bad that I was not being productive because I had plans this week to like, I was going to be so productive and I was going to start my TikTok and I was going to apply for loads of jobs. And then I was like, oh my god, I feel awful. I need to just rest, even though I don't want to rest. Just loads of little things that made like the bigger things that we're going to get into just feel even worse. But yeah, I'm coming back to myself now. I feel like I have a little bit more energy. I have my books, obviously, which are already making like a really big difference in my mental health. I'm gonna hopefully sort out my editing software, or I'm just gonna find a new one because that watermark is not okay. Um, so yeah, we're just gonna have a chill time ranting about spirituality, I guess, or where I am, I guess, in my beliefs. I feel like even if whatever you believe in, whether you're an atheist or you're not sure or you're religious, whatever, I don't know, everyone's welcome here. Stay if you want to just hear me rant about things. If you don't want to stay, that's cool too. We're just gonna have a fun time being pissed off right now because hey, I'm human. I'm allowed to feel pissed off. And because I always do try to say to people and in these videos, like, feel what you need to feel. So I'm just taking my own advice. Currently, I don't even know how to describe how I'm feeling right now, to be honest with you. I feel like I've been in this particular space for so long that the feelings I'm feeling just don't feel like themselves anymore, or they don't, I don't know, they don't connect with me anymore. They don't make sense, but I can't explain it any better than that. I feel like I'm very in between stages and it feels very icky and uncomfortable and strange because I feel like there's nothing I can do to get over it or change it. I just have to be here and sit in it for a while, which sucks because I've already been sitting in it for like ages, for months. But I also feel like I'm trying to just be done with forcing things to happen because clearly that does not work and it just creates more resistance, I guess the spiritual gurus would say. But yeah, I just want to point out as well, disclaimer, I'm not an expert on spirituality. I'm not coming for any other beliefs or whatever. This is just me ranting and trying to figure out what I believe in, which, to be honest, I have no idea. I don't think I will ever realise what I truly believe in or, you know, have a fixed thing, I guess, which again we'll get more into in a bit. But basically, I feel as if I'm having a little bit of a crisis of faith, or I'm having a hard time, or sometimes I have a hard time in trusting that things will ever be unfolding for me or turning out okay. And I am feeling a bit exhausted about the lack of change in my life right now, despite my best efforts to better myself and my life. And if I am told by one more like collective reader, tarot reader, whatever, if I am told by one more video on the internet that I just need to be a little bit more patient, I will scream and just lie on the floor. Which is what we need to do sometimes, but I can't stand the P word anymore. I've been told to be patient so many times, and I feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm actually losing my mind. Because I do, you know, those videos and they're titled, like, there's like a girl in her car or like a girl in her bedroom or whatever, and the video's called like, you had to see this before tomorrow, or like, the energy is changing and you can feel it. I do watch videos like that because they are mostly very positive, and I like to just listen to something light-hearted and positive while I journal and stuff. And whether there is like a such thing as like a collective reading or whether it's just a coincidence, some of the stuff they do say does help me to reflect on my own situation and reflect on things that I guess I need to figure out or just explore. And I do find them really helpful in that sense. But sometimes they do get a bit, I don't know, I feel like, here's the thing, I'm in a situation right now where intuitively I felt for a while that like a big change is coming and my life is gonna get, what I would say my life's gonna get better, and you know, the things that I'm working towards will come into fruition. How the hell do you say that word? Fruition. Now that doesn't sound real anyway. But yeah, but I've been stuck in this stage for a really long time. I've been stuck in the in-between for a really long time, and it's kind of gets scary at some points because my ego is like anxious because I tell myself that I should be in a much better position than where I am in life right now. And in that sense, I guess that I am a bit harsh with myself. And these videos used to be like so positive, like I can feel the change and like you're doing so well and all that. And now they're just like, hey, you're doing so well, but you just need to be a little bit more patient. Like, it's coming, but just like you have to wait a little bit more. And I'm sick of being in this in-between state. I'm trying to be thankful for it. Right now, upon reflection, I feel like I am in a position where I am chill with it, I guess, a little bit more. It's just on certain days, it does start to send me into like an anxious spiral, or it does start to get to me a bit. And it is frustrating when you do so much work to better yourself and change your position, and it feels like nothing is happening. I am a true believer in like things happen mostly when they're meant to, and that like, you know, everything's working for me and everything just needs to get into an alignment, and I understand that, but there's another part of me that just feels so exhausted and frustrated with like constantly being told that just be patient, and it's like, okay, but when am I gonna have my moment, kind of thing. And yeah, maybe you can relate to that. Maybe you're feeling a bit down about that as well, and I think that's okay. I think we're allowed to be thankful and we're allowed to have gratitude, but we're also allowed to just feel what we're feeling, because I feel as well, I feel like the person who I want to be, the higher version, the better version, the future version, whatever, I feel like if she was feeling negative, she would allow herself to feel these emotions, because what I always preach is that emotions are meant to be felt, and they're, you know, it's okay. We shouldn't feel guilty for feeling what we feel. So yeah, I always try and align to whatever version of myself I think would have everything that I want in those little ways, because I'm like, you know, in that way I'm connected to her and I'm showing up for myself in, you know, ways that I can and am able to right now. I've said this in another video. No one listens to them though, so it's fine. But I feel like my whole life has been very slow and steady wins the race. My whole life has been be patient and like, oh, not yet, and oh, just a little bit more. And then it's a year later and I'm still kind of a bit, you know, okay, am I doing anything wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? Because I tried and it still didn't work out. And I feel like I got like a lot of false starts with things, which again has been really frustrating. I know rejection is redirection, and I'm trying to tell myself, especially in the job hunting process, that has been my mantra. I also know that hindsight is a beautiful thing, and I will most likely look back in a few years or even months from now and think, oh my gosh, it all worked out. I'm so happy where I'm at right now. I'm so happy about how things fell into place, and I just needed to let them fall into place, and there was no need for me to worry or, you know, feel whatever. But currently, I don't even know where I'm at, to be honest. I don't even know where I'm at spiritually with my beliefs. They feel a bit up in the air, and I think that's okay as well. Sometimes I even question where I want to be in life, and sometimes a part of me does get very sick and fed up of that. So yeah, I just need to have a woo-woo rant to you. Also, I love that we're calling like spirituality like woo-woo now. It's such a cute girly pop thing, I guess. But also woo-woo is like my favourite cocktail. So yeah, great times. So I guess right now I'm just going to talk to you about like a little bit of my spiritual journey, I guess. I was reflecting on this and I actually googled the definition of spiritual awakening, because I was writing down, I was like, so when I was like 16 or 17, I had what people may call or refer to as spiritual awakening. And then I looked at the words and I was like, what does that actually mean? Like, what's obviously spiritual awakening can mean so many things to so many different people, and I don't want to take that away from anyone. But I wanted like a clear definition for me. I was like, okay, how do people define a spiritual awakening? And the AI overview that Google gave me was a shift in one's consciousness, often described as a profound sense of awareness, purpose, and connection to something larger than oneself. I broke it down because I was like, oh, I'll like reflect on my beliefs or like my journey or stuff, because I thought this was really interesting to me. Sorry if it's boring to you. As far as the connection bit, so a connection to something larger than oneself, that is true for me, I would say. I've always felt connected, for lack of a better word, to something else, to an energy, what some people may refer to as God or as the gods or goddess, a higher being or beings. I would say I'm definitely agnostic, if that's the word. Like, I believe there's something, I just don't know what. And I honestly think I'm going to spend the rest of my life being like that and just trying to figure out what it is, which I think is okay. But I'm also of the belief that there are many mysteries and things in this life and this world that we as humans just can't or don't have the capacity or the capability to understand. And so I'm always like, well, I am connected to something and I do feel something, I just don't fully understand it, or I don't have the capacity to fully understand it with my little human brain. and that's okay. Again, this is just my belief, by the way. I'm not saying that if you follow a certain religion or a certain set of beliefs where you worship and or connected to a certain god or gods or deities, I'm not saying that that's wrong or bad in any way. This is, again, just what I believe in. We're all gonna, have different things that we connect to and resonate to. But for me, I haven't found a certain sort of set thing that I believe in or that makes sense to me. I would say I'm more connected to energies and certain figures that symbolize certain things to me. And sometimes they do tend to be figures from different cultures or beliefs, but I do think that certain titles and or symbols resonate with different people. And I also believe that it is all connected, that these beings, things, symbols, whatever, they may just have different names or titles in different cultures and belief systems, but they're all connected and, we're all one, whatever. Sometimes I kind of joke to myself that my beliefs are very much like a pick and mix, because I will just take certain figures from like certain cultures and be like, oh, I like you, and then be like, oh, I like you too. An example of this would be different goddesses from different backgrounds and cultures. I love goddesses. I love feminine energy. I love feeling connected to different feminine energies and learning about them. There is a book which I first read when I was, starting out my spiritual journey, I guess, called You Are a Goddess by Sophie Bashford. I have put tabs on this book. I don't do that. I'm not like a tab girly. I never put tabs on my books. I have put tabs on this book. But yeah, each section of this book is a different goddess taking you through a different stage of healing. But it's goddesses from, different religions, backgrounds, cultures, which I love and I think is so cool. I honestly, in general, I'm just such a curious person and I love finding out about different cultures and beliefs. And this book was just right up my alley for so many different reasons. For me, just learning and understanding their teachings and their messages, even though they are from different cultures or backgrounds and different parts of the world. So maybe from typically from a human logical perspective, they shouldn't fit together because, there should only be one set of beliefs. But to me, these energies just all exist, and I believe that you can tap into all of them. I mean, whether they do all exist individually or if they are the same and it's just under a different name and identity, who knows? And to be honest, who cares? Yeah, I'm just really curious, and I love finding out about different beliefs and cultures. And even if you don't believe in this stuff, just researching it and finding out and learning stuff is just so interesting. And yeah, you don't have to believe in it, but just respecting it goes a long way. And sometimes I used to, when I was really, well, not really young, but when I was a teenager, when I questioned my beliefs, or if I had a sort of moment of what I believe in, or where I found myself sort of questioning God or whoever, I would kind of beat myself up about it a little bit. But I think it's okay to have these moments of questioning or doubt. We're human. It's a part of life. We're always going to experience some sort of doubt or whatever, and I think it's okay. And every time I have questioned or explored my faith, it's kind of grown deeper, I guess. The connection to whatever, or even just my own connection to my own self and my self-awareness has grown. And I'm only young. I'm 22. I'm a baby. We're all babies. And even when I'm older, I'm still going to be a baby, and I still feel like I won't have a set thing. And that's okay. I feel like, throughout life, we're all going to have moments of doubt. You're going to have moments where your faith deepens. You're going to have moments of just complete confusion, or maybe you'll just have a firm set belief throughout your life, and that's okay too. Whether you're religious or spiritual or an atheist, or you don't know what you are, that's okay too. It will be different for everyone, and I think that's the beauty in life, is that everyone is just different, and we can learn a lot from listening to each other. But yeah, like I said, just as well, having that belief, or just sort of that reflective thought of, well, maybe us humans don't fully have the capacity to fully understand or make sense of the mysteries of the world, and that's okay. I am of the mind that everything is connected. Make of that what you will. some spiritual gurus or practitioners will argue that we can raise our vibration and open our minds, our third eyes, whatever, to a certain level of consciousness where we can access and understand and fully know everything or certain things. And of course, we can raise our vibrations and open our minds to these concepts and these ideas and stuff like that. But I also think, at least for me, it would take the fun out of life a bit if I were to know all of the answers, especially as well now where I am so young. It would kind of feel like getting a cheat sheet and then doing all of a video game in like 10 seconds and then being like, oh, that wasn't fun because I knew how to do everything. Not knowing how to do things or being so confused and upset and angry is obviously shit sometimes, but it's also part of the human experience. And I feel like things that I've gone through have gotten me to where I am now. And even if I don't have much around me right now physically, I have a really strong sense of who I am and a strong connection to myself. And I'm very thankful for that. And like, yeah, it is frustrating not to know if Bigfoot really exists, but it is also fun to come up with my own theories about Bigfoot. So yeah, like... it's just fun to think about life being magical, and maybe if I did know all the questions, my answers to my questions, it wouldn't be that magical. Or I also think that I would lose my mind a bit if I were to fully realise just how intricate and connected and wild the universe is and how life is, even though I don't know right now and I'm losing my mind, but you know what I mean? Like, it's different levels of mind loss. Like, it's different levels of losing my mind. And sometimes, honestly, I do start to spiral because sometimes I just start thinking about existence and how does existence actually exist and how did we get here, and if we're going by the theory that there was a Big Bang, then how were those chemicals and rocks and stuff existing, and how did they get there? And I find it so beautiful and magical and amazing that, you know, yeah, if the theory of Big Bang, if that is like real and that actually happened, cool, whatever, find that so beautiful and amazing that like we came from like a bunch of chemicals and rocks. I don't know science, okay? I'm sorry if there's a scientist listening and they're like, what the hell are you saying right now? But I find it so amazing and magical and beautiful that like things came together and there was an explosion and it made Earth, like it made life, it made us. I'm not a science girly. I can't do science. I can't understand it. I tried so hard in school to get science, and for some reason it was just not going into my brain, and that is okay. I'm a drama, film studies, creative writing girly, and that is cool. Some girlies are STEM girlies, more women in science, woo, I will support you, but I can't do science. But I have such a profound appreciation and just... I'm in awe of science because I used to sit in my science classes not understanding what the teacher was saying. But I used to sit in my science classes at school and just reflect and think, wow, it's so gorgeous and amazing that like everything connects. Like there's an explanation or a theory for everything. And it's so wild that, you know, atoms build together and make things, and we're all like, you know, and the body is such like an intricate thing and it's a design, and our body does so much for us, but we just take it for granted. And like we like bleed but then we heal, and you know, chemistry, all of these like things connect to make water or to make, you know, life and food and air. And it's, I don't know, I would just start to spiral because I'm like, wow, everything connected, and it's so wild that like everything came together so perfectly to sustain and support this kind of life. You know what I mean? Like we could be looking like one of the aliens in Doctor Who, just living another life. You know what I mean? I don't know, sorry. But yeah, I spiral sometimes because I'm like, how does existence exist? How are we here? How does everything fit together so we're here? And maybe I just don't get science, and maybe to scientists it's a lot less magical because they actually understand it, and maybe I'm just being a dumbass. But yeah, we love romanticizing science. I feel like that was a really long explanation of connected to a higher thing. Anyway, okay, as for the first part, as for a profound sense of awareness and purpose. Awareness, this again is where I start to lose my mind. Awareness, I've been aware my entire life. I have been like too aware. Some may say way too aware. damagingly aware of my surroundings, aware of other people. And I've always tried to be as open-minded as I can, collect all the information, explore different things. But I've been especially self-aware my entire life. Some may say that's a good thing. And it is an amazing part of the spiritual awakening process, is that you go into this sort of self-reflective thing. But being self-aware, some may say, could also be a trauma response from feeling like a burden to everyone in your life. And you know what? I would agree with both. It can be so good and so damaging. And you know what? Being self-aware is a really good thing, and being aware is a really good thing. More people should definitely start trying it. It would make my life a lot easier. It would make the world a better place. But I am definitely too self-aware sometimes myself. And maybe so self-aware that I end up being not self-aware at all. Because I definitely have a habit of trying to change my behaviour for the better and blaming myself when a situation doesn't work out and reflecting on what I could have done to make it work out. When in reality, sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It was never going to work out in the first place, babe. Enough is enough. We should just walk away. I had to learn that lesson, and I'm still learning that lesson over and over again, that sometimes it's not your fault and sometimes it's just not meant to be and you need to move on. Awareness is a great thing, but there's just definitely a balance that you have to strike. I think with spirituality there is a lot of emphasis on the shadow self and shadow work, and just how those parts of ourselves affect us and affect our behaviour and our life. So that aspect of being self-aware does come through with how our subconscious or these quote darker parts of ourselves affect us from day to day. And when I say darker parts, I mean those things or beliefs that we have that make us feel sad or angry or ashamed. So we kind of bury them and push them down so that they're, in the darkness, hence shadow self. At least that's my understanding of the theory. Again, I'm not like an expert. I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or a spiritual guru. But yeah, that's how I understand the term. I have done a lot of shadow work, I guess. And which is basically me just journaling and reflecting on the past and asking myself why I do certain things or why I believe certain things. And I think when I first had my spiritual awakening, I guess if we're calling it that, things were so magical and amazing for about a week. And then after that, it just felt like a constant shit show of I don't even know how one would describe it. Just feeling isolated from people, feeling like I couldn't get through to anyone, feeling like nothing was really making sense or connecting in my life. And I would experience these breakthroughs of feeling, healed or going inside myself and clearing these blocks. But then I would never really see anything to prove my healing in the outside world, if that makes sense. And my life would be okay, and my life is okay. And again, I'm just ranting about first world problems, and I would have good moments and, have a few moments of feeling really good, but never really great. Never really amazing, never really what I wanted. Which again, first world problems, I'm not saying I have it hard in any way. Overall, my life has been pretty amazing. I haven't really had to face any hardships at all. I'm literally just a dumb white girl ranting right now about the stuff that does not matter at all. But I feel like I have definitely struggled mentally in my life, and I have definitely struggled with a lot mentally and emotionally. And yeah, I've gone through things that have been pretty shit and have affected me very negatively, extremely negatively. And I've had to work a lot with myself to kind of drag myself out of the depths of, whatever. And I am very proud of myself for that. But I just have these moments where I felt and still feel like I was and am constantly putting good energy out and treating others with so much love and respect, and just really trying to make the world a good place and trying to heal myself and trying to help others and love myself and love others and encourage others to be the best version of themselves, was also trying to be the best version of myself, and yet just seeing nothing really show up for me or come back to me in the capacity that I felt like I was showing up for other people and myself. And I feel like just that can be very mentally taxing, to feel good things and to feel good energy coming, and then dealing with the constant disappointment of like not seeing things show up for your life, and then kind of feeling that good energy or that good stuff coming kind of fizzle away after it's been built up for so long, if that makes sense. I've experienced a lot of moments where intuitively, and again, you don't have to believe in intuition or whatever, but I just believe that, you know, everyone has gut feelings, everyone has intuition, whatever you want to call it, and I feel like we can tap into that if we want to. That's just my belief though. But yeah, I've experienced a lot of moments where intuitively I have felt really good energy coming, and I feel like something really amazing is about to happen, and then nothing happens for a really long time. The feeling slowly fizzles away, and then I'm left to kind of pick myself up and try to keep going. For a long time, I did beat myself up as well, because I always thought like, oh, I must have done something really wrong then. You're having to be your own cheerleader and support system. And that is a really good thing, because at the end of the day, we are the only ones with ourselves all the time and all throughout our lives. So we do need to cultivate a strong, loving, respectful connection and relationship between ourselves. But we are also meant for connection, and, you know, we are also meant to have others in our life. So having to pick yourself up all the time can be mentally and emotionally very challenging. There are obviously pros and cons to it. I would say I'm very, 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 like, extremely thankful that I have grown this close to myself. I think if I had had more people in my life, perhaps it wouldn't be like this, and maybe I wouldn't be this close to myself as I am now. That being said, I do wish that I had more people and connections in my life. So obviously, again, pros and cons, and I think it's okay to look at situations from both angles. I also, again, think of those videos on TikTok or YouTube Shorts with the water and the ping pong balls, where all the dirt, I guess, where people pour more water into the cup of water that has the balls in it or the dirt in it, and the balls or the dirt start to rise to the top, and the woman in the video is like, see, you're not going backwards, you're just healing, so all this stuff is coming up to the surface. Which, first of all, I'm so thankful to people who make videos like that, because it can feel awful sometimes when you think you're going backwards, when in reality you are just acknowledging what was already there and getting rid of it. So yeah, I love those videos. But sometimes it starts to feel like I have a never-ending amount of ping pong balls in my spirit, and every time I get rid of one, you know, I can't even rest before another one comes up. Obviously, healing is non-linear, and you don't just get to a certain point where everything is fine. With every phase of your life and growth, there will come new challenges and experiences that you have to deal with and work through. But for a good few years of my life, it felt and has kind of just felt like I have not been given a break or a chance to experience just like a normal cool life, you know, just like a normal little girly pop life. It's just been constant ping pong balls coming at me like I'm in a batting cage or like a tennis ball machine, just constant, you know, tennis balls coming at me, and I'm like, can I just, like, you know, have fun with those people over there? And the universe is like, no, we're gonna isolate you and chuck tennis balls at you. It's like, oh gosh, I'm thinking about that scene in Clueless now where the girl's like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything where balls fly at my nose, and then Dion's like, well, there goes your social life. Wow. I need to watch Clueless now. I haven't watched Clueless in forever. But yeah, it's felt like constant tennis balls, and honestly sometimes I think it's bullshit and I just need a break. So yeah, that's where I am right now in terms of like awareness and healing and the stages. And healing is great, but also, where is my cute, fun, little girly pop human experience? Like, I feel like there's this TikTok that I saw ages ago and it made me laugh so much, and it was to the sound of that, like, America's Next Top Model sound, I believe is the show. And it was the sound where she's like, I don't want to do it anymore, I can't take the pressure. And it's this guy, and it's like, oh, POV, you don't want to be God's strongest soldier anymore. And it's just him miming along to like, I just can't take the pressure. And honestly, that is how I feel sometimes. I'm like, and all these tarot readers on TikTok are like, oh, your soul chose this before you came to Earth, your soul and I was like, you know what, I want to beat my soul up right about now. If that is true, wow. Yeah, I don't know how much I believe in all of that stuff. But hey, I'm just a baby. I have plenty of time to figure it out. And yeah, sometimes I don't want to be God's strongest soldier. Sometimes I just want to have a little, unself-aware human experience. Okay, the profound sense of purpose part. This might get dark for a minute, but it's cool. I feel like this whole pod has kind of been like, I don't know, sorry to bring the vibe down even further. Okay, sense of purpose this is wild to me. Okay, I struggled with thinking of one when I was younger. This is what I mean by I was so self-aware and so aware from a very young age to the point where it was like very damaging to my mental health. I don't know if you would call this aware. I don't know. Basically, I've always been a very sensitive and emotional child. I have always kind of spiraled into thinking about others' feelings more than my own sometimes. I took things way harder and way deeper than I think maybe most or at least some other children do. And I often felt responsible for like everyone's emotions as well, and just felt everyone's emotions. And I think I was just very emotionally intelligent from a very young age, but people around me just called me sensitive, which also was quite damaging. Anyway, so having a purpose or a sense of purpose, or not having a sense of purpose, did kind of wreak havoc on my mental health and my sense of worth. I thought I had to do this incredible, amazing thing to make the world a better place. I thought it was all down to me, and that because I hadn't changed the world or done anything amazing, I was just totally terrible. I was an awful human being. I think as well, growing up with and seeing and understanding and feeling and observing and just watching the adults in my life not being very happy also made me feel like I had to do this big amazing thing to make everyone happy. I look back on that and think like, wow, that's completely wild. Why would I even think that? But yeah, I was a very sensitive, emotional child, and yeah, just very overly aware of others. And that did affect me very negatively sometimes. And I think, I don't know, I thought it had to be some detailed set thing where like I had to have this big plan, when in reality right now I'm at the belief of like, it doesn't have to be a big thing at all. I think sometimes, yeah, having those set things or activities or having a plan can really help us. But right now, I have a pretty broad sense of purpose, in the way that I believe that my purpose, along with everybody else's, is just to love ourselves and help each other, and help each other come back to loving ourselves so that we can love ourselves and love each other, and obviously so on and so forth. I know this might sound very cringy or whatever, but it's true. I think so many of the world's problems just comes from hatred and self-hatred. How you see and interact with the world comes down to how you see and interact with yourself, if you do at all. I think unfortunately a lot of people either have a very negative, almost degrading relationship with themselves, or they don't even have a conscious relationship with themselves. They don't really see it as important or something to work on because it's not something outside of themselves, or maybe, it's not something physical that you can see, not in the sense of like, a relationship with someone else. You can physically see, two people there. But yeah, I think we all just need to look inside ourselves a bit more, love ourselves and respect ourselves. I think the world would be a much brighter place. We would carry ourselves with respect and love, and therefore inspire others to do so. And like I say now, I'm at the point where I think it doesn't have to be a massive thing. I think energy is powerful and intent is so powerful. Just smiling at someone, holding a door open, having a small conversation, giving a compliment, even just sending someone like good energy can go a long way. I know this sounds kind of simple and obvious, but I just wanted to acknowledge how my sense of purpose has changed and how we can all do little things to help ourselves and the world, and it doesn't have to be this big giant thing to be considered good or valid or amazing or world changing. I think treating ourselves with love and respect, but also treating others with love and respect, can go a long way to help heal our identities and therefore we're going to be acting out of love rather than hate, and obviously the world needs a lot more love. This has been a very weird rant. This has been very like reflective, very woo-woo. I think I just needed to lay it all out and see how far I've come and reflect on the good things, but also reflect on the fact that, yeah, I am feeling a bit shit and a bit frustrated right now, and that's okay. I've got my books now so I can read and feel better. I hope this was interesting for you. I've been yapping for far too long, so I will let you go now.